hey, welcome back. I'm feeling a little bit quiet, but I'm okay. Let's go. You know what? I wanted to start with the soap. I was feeling self-conscious about my last videos because my voice was low and it was kind of like cracking like that. I didn't like it. What do they call that? Fry? Because it's too quiet. I'm fine. Kill me. Okay, I wanted to do this. Hold on. Yeah. Alright, let's do it. So yeah, I did the wedding. It's been like every week I've had a new thing to do, which is pretty interesting. I guess it started like with that coworker thing, and then I did the church thing. Then I did the trip to the lake. Then I did the wedding. So I didn't do anything. I should talk about that later too. Okay. I'm going to do a Zoom thing on Friday. Okay. But yeah, let's talk about the wedding today. I went to a wedding on Saturday. The first wedding I've been to since 2015. I've only been to like 3 or 4 weddings that I can remember. And they were all family. Is that right? Yeah, I didn't think about that, but I've never been to like that's a big deal that I got invited to a wedding that was not family, because it's like when it's family, like you have to be invited. But it was, he wouldn't have, there weren't that many people there, so he wouldn't have invited me if he didn't like think that I deserved to be invited or whatever. He didn't invite that many people. Because there was maybe somewhere between like 90 and 120 people there. And of course half of those are the bride. So only like 50 people. We only invited like 50 people. And a lot of them were his family, so it's a big deal. And every time, like, I bought a card for him, and I was like, it's so nice that you invited me. And then at the table, they did this cool thing where I was at table 12, so at table 12 you're supposed to write in this little book in the middle, like, we're going to read this on our 12th anniversary, like, leave us a note. So every table was like, we're going to read this on our 1st anniversary, leave us a note, our 2nd anniversary for table 2, stuff like that. And I was like, oh, that's a cool idea. So I left a note. And part of my note was like, oh, it's so nice that you invited me, even though like you didn't know me that long, and it's so cool. So I just kept saying like, thank you for inviting me. I don't know. Maybe too much, but and I remember when we were writing the notes, I had a specific feeling like, because one of the people at the table was writing, and then it was kind of clear that they were going to pass it around to everybody. And usually that would be a situation when I was younger where I would be nervous, like, oh no, they want me to write, what do I write? But I didn't feel that. Maybe because I've been like writing online a lot more, and I just like feel comfortable writing. Like, especially with Dalton's comments, like, I just wrote, like, a comment, like I would write to Dalton in the... So, yeah, thanks, Dalton, for the practice. I don't know. Keep forgetting I have the extender. Yeah, so I wrote him a note, and it was, like, weird and probably bad, but I didn't feel nervous about it, and he's not going to read it for 12 more years anyway, so... But I definitely had a feeling like, oh, if I was younger, I would be really nervous right now about like, oh, they're going to pass the book to me, and what do I say? But I was just like, whatever, I'll think of something. just start writing and see what comes up. And that's like what a normal person does. Just not used to being normal, I guess. There were still instances of me being not normal, but I went to a wedding and I wore a suit, and like how much more normal can you be? So yeah, what should I talk about for the wedding? It was, I guess I was, so like the thing I was most worried about was dancing. And guess what? Nobody danced except when they did like the first dance stuff. So I guess at some weddings they don't dance, but every wedding I've been to, there's been like a point at the wedding where there's a DJ, and the DJ's like, get out on the dance floor. But there was no DJ. And there was no dancing. Which is good. It was definitely good for me because I wasn't ready to do that. In the future, like I think if I ever have a wedding, I think I would have like a dance portion. Like I want to be comfortable dancing at the wedding. I don't know. I'll have to think about it, but for now, I'm glad that that wasn't the case, because I would have just sat there and I would have felt like a mopey mope, and I don't want to feel that way. So I'm glad. Yeah, I was comparing it to like previous weddings, and the last wedding I went to was my cousin's wedding, and I remember it being late at night. Like it would go into the night. It was a long time, and everybody was drinking and everybody was dancing, and I was like, I don't like this, and I felt really uncomfortable for like 5 hours or whatever. But this wedding was totally different. It was super low key. No dancing, no drinking, which is like, other people might be like, oh, I hate that, but I'm like, that was good for me. So I'm glad that it went well. I didn't have to feel bad about not dancing or not drinking. And it was over by 3 o'clock, which was surprising. Like, I always thought weddings would just like go in the night forever, and at 3 o'clock the bride and the groom did the thing where they drove away, and it's like, okay, see it. And then you just go home because it's like the bride and the groom are gone. So then I went home. What was the most awkward part? I guess there was a point where I was sitting at the table and we were eating, and I hadn't talked for a long time, and I just felt weird, like I could be talking more. I didn't really feel too weird about wearing the suit, because most of everybody else was wearing a suit. And a couple people were like, hey, nice suit. And I was like, hey, you too, nice suit. Stupid. I did talk to the groom, which was really good. I talked to him when I was first there, before he got married. Because I got there kind of early. But that's just because I was worried. My mom made me worried, like, oh yeah, get there before 11 o'clock, because that's like when the bride is walking down the aisle, and I'm like, oh god, that would be so embarrassing if I got there when it already started. So I got there like a half an hour early, and I just sat there by myself, which is fine. But the groom was there, and I talked to him for like 2 minutes, and he was wearing a red suit, so I was like, hey, I knew he was going to wear a red suit. And so I was like, it's not as red as I thought it was going to be. And he's like, oh yeah, it's nice, right? And I was like, yeah, I liked it. I actually liked it. It was a nice like burgundy color. Because he said he was going to wear a red suit, and I was thinking like Santa Claus or something. But it was nice. It was a nice suit. That's what I said basically to him. I did feel weird because I'm like, I shouldn't be talking to you today. It's like too important for you to like associate this day with me. Yeah, don't talk to me. Talk to your parents or somebody. But he was good. He was like talking to everybody. And then I went and sat down, and so that was good. There was a point where at the reception, the bride and groom were like sitting in like this entryway, and I walked past them, and they're like, "Oh, hey, Anthony." And then I was just like, and I didn't talk to them. I felt like that's like they wanted me to talk to them there, and I just kind of like, I'm going to the bathroom. I just went to the bathroom. So that wasn't great. That was probably the worst thing, because I felt like that was an opportunity where they wanted me to talk to them, and I didn't take it. And they could easily be like, "Oh, Anthony, what's he doing? Why did he want to talk to us?" So that was bad, but everything else was good. That's gotta be it. Yeah, let's clean this little pocket. So I felt like today was bad. I did a bad job at talking. Which is how I always feel, so at least it's consistent. Okay, that's fine. So yeah, I went to the wedding. I'll probably talk a little bit more about it tomorrow. And I have some more stuff to do this week. Always doing something. My job's been good. That's good. I don't know. I'm feeling off today a little bit, but well, it could possibly be because I haven't interacted with a person since the wedding, which was Saturday. And today's Wednesday, and I haven't seen a live person since then. Anyway, see you tomorrow.